Hey, Brittany.
Yeah.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Penastar.
Penastar Blue. It's really not that funny, actually. What's up, Brite Nation?
Hey, Brite Nation.
So we are currently on our way to LA with, if you haven't guessed it yet, a severely rod-knocked motor.
Oh, it's knocking.
It is knocking big time. So that sucks. But this video it's more or less to tell you the story, our experience, what happened, how it happened, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Before we get into that, to try to make it to LA, what I did was I drained the oil, I put in 3 quarts of Lucas and 2 quarts of 2050. So we've basically got a thick concoction.
Got like tar, basically.
Well,
Not quite that bad, but yeah.
Yeah, and come to find out, I thought, oh, you know, the oil pressure is going to go through the roof. And I guess I found out, because you have an oil pressure gauge on here, that it's an electric oil pump.
It's controlled electrically,
So
your oil pressure is.
Yeah, which normally it's mechanical, so the thicker oil you go. So anyway, I'm still sitting at the same oil pressure, but at least it's thicker oil, I guess.
We're just going to make it to LA.
Hey, bet. How far do we make it?
Oh, God. Don't do that. Don't jinx it.
We're in St. George, headed to LA, and it's 105 degrees outside. And we're not towing the Razor. We left the Razor behind in St. George, so we don't have to tow with it. Where are we going to throw a rod through the side of the block?
Let us know in the comments what you think. But before we get into the good, the bad, and the ugly, there are a couple things we definitely want to mention first.
First and foremost, right? We're going to go this thing right here. HPtuners MPVI2. This thing is what powers the space shuttle, and we took it right out of Elon Musk's hand. No, but this right here allows you to tune Chrysler products, GM products. HPtuners has been around for a long time, and they were able to crack the codes to get into FCA vehicles, and without this, we would have been doing this video
without HPtuners and a couple other
and
things we're about to mention. You'd be watching this video weeks ago, or if not months ago. Like, this would have happened way sooner.
HPtuners is fantastic. It has all the parameters and some. They can even add some as needed.
Being able to tune on the go has saved our over the last couple months.
It is HPtuners. Thank you for making an amazing product. No, we're not being paid by them. Nope. This isn't a product plug that they're paying us.
This is just genuine appreciation, because again, this would have happened way sooner if it wasn't for HPtuners.
I've been in the tuning world with imports for a long time, and it's amazing because what they do is you plug this in, you're able to crack into your OEM ECU and change all parameters needed to tune your vehicle.
Anywhere, as long as you have a laptop.
Number one. That's number one.
That was number one.
Number two, race gas concentrate. This stuff is race gas in a bottle that's super concentrated, as it says, race gas concentrate. Oh my God.
Again, without this stuff, you'd be watching this video
because of all the
months ago.
Because of all the tuning problems. Anytime we had major detonation issues, I was able to add this to our tank, stave off that detonation, and get us to the next town, get us to the next tuner, get us to the next place that was safe. That place that was safe.
And the thing to keep in mind, so this is not like octane booster that you buy at AutoZone or O'Reilly's or something. This is legit race fuel concentrate.
The stuff that you buy at AutoZone that says, 107 plus blah blah blah, that stuff is bull as far as that goes. The 107 is not how much octane it's giving you. We'll go into a whole other thing if you guys want to know about that, but generally a whole bottle that you buy at the store for $10-12 is going to maybe raise your 91 octane to 91.2 octane or 91.3 octane,
whereas a third of this can here will take your 91 octane
to
and
93, 94.
And take it to actual 93, 94, 95, something like that, depending on how much you add in. So again, huge thing right here.
Real quick, if you have a turbo car, supercharged car, high performance car, it is possible to get bad gas while traveling around the country. This right here can save your engine. Get a bottle of this.
There's no reason not to have it.
If you have a high performance car, just put a bottle of this in your trunk and have it. All right,
that was number 2.
And then
number 3.
Yeah, last but not least, again, if you have a turbo or supercharged car, you absolutely need to have gauges. You need a wideband gauge, you need a boost gauge, and I would also say a fuel gauge, a fuel pressure gauge.
Unfortunately, our motor started rod knocking before we were able to put the boost gauge and stuff in. However, we were able to install a wideband gauge.
So GlowShift did hook us up with a wideband which is awesome. Because we were tuning so much, we have lived the last 3 months with a laptop on Brittany's lap as we drove, and we're data logging. It's been bad. And been data logging the whole time. During that, I was able to watch my boost while data logging and my fuel pressure real time.
But what we couldn't watch...
What you couldn't watch is AFRs, because when you're driving, the vehicle doesn't have a wideband built in. They're all narrow band. So we absolutely had to hook up the wideband.
So we could actually see what was going on with our AFRs, which AFR, if you're not familiar, it's air-fuel ratio. And so that's number 3.
So HPtuners, race gas concentrate, and the GlowShift gauges.
Yes.
And while we're talking about GlowShift real quick, GlowShift, you're like, oh, I'm not feeling blue today. I'm feeling green. Or I'm feeling red. Or I'm feeling yellow. Anyway, you get the idea with the push of a button, or white.
For the short amount of time we had them, they were super dope. Anyways, so you've got those 3 things. We wanted to get that out of the way. But here's the scoop, the main event. About 3 months ago, we installed a Prodigy turbo kit on our 2018 Jeep Wrangler JLU Rubicon with a 3.6, has a 3.6 motor in it. And almost since day one, it has been insane. It's just been nothing but stress. It's been a headache every single day.
All right, but Brittany, if it's been that much of a headache for 3 months, why did you wait? Why are we waiting
Why is
so
this the
long?
first time anyone's hearing about it?
Right,
why are we only uploading the video now?
We see all these wheeling trips where you guys are turbo blasting people up hills and yada yada yada.
So anyone who's asked us online about it or wanted an update, we've explained this to them, but we wanted to find an answer. We wanted to find a solution. We wanted to have answers for you before we uploaded, not just a, hey, something's wrong, but we have no idea what, because we didn't want speculation. We wanted to have something concrete
We
for
wanted to
our
exhaust
viewers.
all options to try to make it right, so we can say, hey, we had these issues, and if you have
Here
these
was
issues,
the solution.
Here's the solution, guys. Unfortunately.
But we didn't reach a solution. We reached a rod knocking motor. So our motor is officially rod knocked. Yeah,
officially
that sucks.
done.
It's officially done. It is also worth mentioning too, though, that we are not the only people that have this issue, that have a rod knocked motor, or that have the issues that we're about to explain to you. The whole experience that we've had. There's others out there. We've talked to them.
There's some people with holes in the side of their engine.
There's some people that actually blew a rod out the side of their block. So anyways, that's all worth mentioning. Now let's get to the good, the bad, and the ugly.
While I'm driving.
Yep.
Is this safe? Is this OSHA approved?
It is not OSHA approved.
Okay, so let's get into the good, because I want to start there, because there is a lot of good. The Prodigy Turbo Kit is a well thought out and planned kit. The kit is actually quite amazing. The fit and the finish is there. The install was actually very simple. There was nothing difficult about it. Everything matched up, everything bolted up. It was great. The instructions, the instruction booklet that it came with, colored pages, very well put together. I was actually very, very impressed. Everything fit great. All of it. The quality was amazing. So there's 0 issues or complaints there. And then also part of the good is they use HPtuners. There's a couple other software companies on the market, and I was kind of afraid they might use them, and I was going to completely deny any other ones. I've looked into them. I don't want to mention any names because that's not what this is about, but HPtuners is who I wanted to go with because I know them, I trust them, and I trust their software. So that's all good. It comes with good injectors, the kit's good, the tuning software is good. That's important. The software is very good, and everything was great. So there's 0 to say about any of that as far as bad, because all that is absolutely amazing.
But then there is bad stuff. So let's get into the bad. Now, before we get into the bad, though, it is important to note, we were upfront about the entire time, before we installed the turbo, while we were installing the turbo, after we installed the turbo. Kevin and I travel all over the nation.
All over the nation. You guys know this.
Yeah. East
Everywhere.
Coast, West Coast, everywhere. And it is very, very often that we get to places where all they have available is 91 octane. A lot of you West Coast folks know this.
Cali, Arizona,
Nevada.
Yeah.
Especially you get into high elevation places. There's a lot of places where the only option you have is 91 octane. 93 octane is not available whatsoever.
Right, and the reason this worried me was because the JL 3.6 liter is 11.3 to 1 compression. We're not going to get into what that means if you don't know, But
it's a higher compression motor than the JK, which a lot of people think the 3.6 in the JL is the same 3.6 that's in the JK.
It's not.
It is not. It is a completely different motor. It is a higher compression motor.
The JK was 10.2 or 10.1 to 1.
One of those.
The JL is 11.3 to 1, which is very, very high. And especially it's very high when you add boost. So good fuel is essential when adding boost to a high compression motor.
So going into this, we let everyone involved know 91 octane would be our only option in a lot of cases, but we were reassured multiple times
Not an issue.
that it would not be an issue.
At all.
It would be fine.
Lo
and behold,
it's an issue.
It is an issue. So the bad.
Well,
let's get into the bad.
Yeah, okay, go
The
ahead.
bad is that the tuning, the actual tune, not the tuning, the tune that comes with the Prodigy Turbo Kit is not adequate. It's not 100% yet. It does not make the vehicle run the way that it should.
In my opinion, this is just my opinion based on the 90 days of tuning I have with this vehicle trying to make it run right, because I've been tuning every single day since I put this in, and it's very frustrating, but I've kept my cool up until now. I'm still keeping my cool. The tune that comes with this kit should be used to start the vehicle and check for oil leaks, coolant leaks, exhaust leaks, and possibly drive around a little bit out of boost just to make sure everything
ultimately
working.
It should just be a
startup
tune. And then from there you take it straight to an actual tuner who can build you and tune your vehicle for what you need it for, what you want, etc. Which
now they're going to say, well, they're going to say, Kevin, Brittany, you have
we did that.
You did that. So
we did
why
do that.
Have the issue? Okay, so here's the issue. Is that we had the tune done, but we were still in Tennessee on 93 octane. Even after that, when we left, there were a few little hiccups on and off throttle. There was some stutters.
We had it custom tuned. We went from the turbo install straight to Nashville, where we had it actually tuned custom. And again, we were very upfront. We need it to be okay on 91 octane, because the moment we get to Colorado, back home, in a few days, that's all that's going to be available to us.
Or what we should have said is, in 4 hours from now, when we hit Kansas, we're going to now only have 91.
Yeah, so we were told it was okay once again, and then lo and behold, hold on. When we first started the vehicle, at Rocker 4x4, who helped us with the install and who did a fan-freaking-tastic job with the install was perfect. Everything fit perfectly. Nothing was forgot. It started up. It idled fine on the tune provided by Prodigy. However, the moment we started driving it, we had the tuning software running. It was showing detonation everywhere. So we were told that it's bad gas. You guys have a bad tank of gas. You need to dump all 20 gallons out of your full tank of gas and get better gas.
So that's where race gas concentrate.
So Rocker 4x4 is literally right next door to another company that had this stuff on the shelf. And yeah, so we dumped that in there, which boosted the octane. Detonation went away.
Now it still had hiccups.
It just wasn't a perfect tune. So we took it to Nashville to get it tuned properly.
It had great power. It was on 93. I didn't have that much time to drive it. We leave, and I'm finding little hiccups. I'm like, that's fine.
Nothing too bad. Yeah.
I'll send them some logs. We'll work it out.
Yeah. And then we get to Topeka, Kansas. We had our first gas station where all that was available was 91 octane.
So here's also why, and now HPtuners again is not paying us, and this is why I'm praising them. So this is a Saturday. We're towing the Razor back. It's like a 15 or 18 hour drive.
Home to Colorado. Yes.
Finally, we haven't been home in months. We want to go home. We're going to have a few days at home. Great. It's Saturday. We're driving. I can audibly hear the detonation, and I know what it sounds like because I've been around.
If you know what detonation sounds like, it's unmistakable. You hear it and you're like, oh God, no.
Yeah. So it starts detonating.
Like 10 miles down the road from the 91 fill up.
But it wasn't just a little bit. It was bad. Very, very, very bad. So bad
that we pulled over in the middle of the highway, in the middle of nowhere.
Well, not in the middle of the highway.
Well, not in the middle of the highway. We pulled over off on the highway. So we're literally on the side of the highway. We're in, where?
Topeka, Kansas.
Topeka, Kansas. No one really is willing to help except for HPtuners. I said except for.
Oh, okay.
I said except for HPtuners. Everyone else, the downside is it's a Saturday, and aside from HPtuners, everyone else is, got more important things than to worry about the people stranded on the side of the road. So.
For how long now?
It's been 2 hours now, in the middle of nowhere in Kansas. 10, 12 hours from home. So at this point, we've pulled a massive amount of timing and are going to limp our way the rest of the way home. So it's 2 a.m.
And here's the issue you can run into. This place has 87 and 89 octane. We're at a big Pilot, no 91 here. So if you were about out of gas,
you'd be SOL.
Yeah.
Luckily, we still have half a tank at the moment. We were just pulling over because it was a big gas station.
Yeah.
So big gas station number 2. Oh, I see 3 options. 91.
Woohoo.
Woohoo.
Here's my biggest problem. Here's the biggest issue. If I'm someone who doesn't know about cars and I just bought a Jeep, I'm like, hey, this would be cool to have a turbo, I want more power, cool. Put it on, and I have my radio going.
You don't know what detonation sounds like.
Detonation sounds like. You're not going to even care. That motor would have blown up. My motor would have blown up in Topeka. Going down the road, I would have had a hole through the side of the block and oil down the road, and I would have been stuck, right?
Not 3 or 4 days after installing the turbo kit.
But because I'm me and I know enough about vehicles, and I was cautious and leery about the 91.
So we were actively listening.
I was actively listening. Turned off the radio, and I'm like, okay, for the next few miles, I want to listen. I want to go in and out of boost and
see how it's running, etc.
And instantly, I could hear it. So I pulled over on the side of the highway, and I call and I email and I text Prodigy.
And it's a Saturday, so Prodigy tells us, hey, send us a log and we'll take a look at it on Monday.
And here's my thing. When I say the vehicle is detonating beyond anything that's drivable, I cannot drive it, we need help, and if I keep driving it, I'm going to blow it up. And when that person says, send me a log means go and drive it and record it and then send me what's happening.
What's happening to it.
Okay, it's not drivable. That's the point that's frustrating, is I just said what was happening, and
you can't log it without risking the motor at that point.
Right, so if I go and drive it, now we're possibly going to blow up the motor by trying to send them. And I get,
and then we'll really be
I'm sure some of you guys have tuning or whatever. I get that you need a log. I've been there. I've been tuning cars for a while, not professionally, but I can dabble, and I know enough that I could not drive it. It wasn't just a light detonation. So here comes where HPtuners is absolutely amazing, because...
Well, the thing is, we called HPtuners. Not only did they answer and they were willing to help, we needed a laptop, so we limped the Jeep as best we could to... Luckily, there was only a Best Buy like 5 miles away.
Like idle.
Bought a laptop. Called HPtuners. They set us up with our own account, our own software, so we could pull up and download HPtuners, and we could actually make changes to our own vehicle right then and there, since no one else would help at the moment. Luckily, Kevin knows enough.
So I was able to get in there. I was able to look at the timing tables. I was able to change some timing. I had, luckily, a little bit of that race gas concentrate left, because I didn't know I was going to need it all the time. I bought it as a just in case, and I had a little bit left, put it in, found the nearest store as well that had more, went and bought more of it, just in case. So the HPtuners saved my butt. We were on our way home. We were excited to be home. Anyway,
what should have been like a 15-hour drive home ended up taking us like 25 hours. There's multiple times where we had to pull over, make adjustments to keep the vehicle from detonating and exploding on us, more or less.
Okay, so we finally make it home to Colorado at 5 a.m.
5 a.m.
Yeah, we start sending logs to Prodigy. We were trying to work things out. The changes that were being made on their end, I was watching the changes, and I don't know. It was day after day. So then I started seeking other tuning, because it just wasn't working.
We were still having detonation. We were still having hiccups. It just, the drivability wasn't working.
So fast forward through all this, we ended up, including the first one and the last one, we went through 5 different tuners. Now, and you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to stick with the tuner, and you know. Anyway, what happened was each tuner would spend 2 full days going through the Jeep. Is there something wrong? We replaced oxygen sensors, and 2 days tuning it. Each tuner did this. At the end of the 2 days, they hated
us. They hated our Jeep. They basically did. It was just like they were frustrated because they could not figure it out. They couldn't make it run right.
So these are 5 professionals who all of them confirmed there was nothing wrong with the install, because we went over all the stuff, and because
that was a reason Prodigy had given us it was installed wrong.
Right. So
no, 5 it wasn't.
Well-known professionals. I'm not going to get into who they are. They all took very good care of us. They all tried very hard.
Yep.
And what we've come down to is it's got to be something in the ECU. It's got to be something that's a parameter or something that's not liking something else. We don't know.
We were having awful fuel smell as we were driving. You just smell raw fuel.
So ultimately, everybody tried. They all have businesses to run. They can't spend, they literally spent open to close for 2 days straight. We got it closed sometimes, but then I would go driving, and the more I drove, the worse it would get. It was like the ECU was relearning and trying to go back to stock parameters or something, and it just wasn't happy, and it would just get worse and worse and worse. So that's it. I mean, we tried. So think about this though. We are trying to be we were trying to always be as optimistic as possible. And right now, even we're trying to tell the story, just how it happened. There's no emotions, no whatever. It's just cut and dry. This is what happened. We tried our hardest to try to find the solution for anybody out there that is going through this or wants to add power to their vehicle.
And we couldn't.
And I couldn't. And I feel like kind of like a jerk that I have this brand new turbo kit that I really wanted to work, and I really wanted to help promote the product.
And when we say we really wanted it to work, I'm not joking. Kevin's so upset right now that the turbo in our motor is like just not a thing. And for the record, it is my decision, because he was like, well, we'll replace the motor and we put the turbo back on. I said, no. The last 3 months for me have been extremely stressful. I know they've been stressful for him too. He's usually slightly more optimistic in general than I am.
It's tuning. And there has to be a way to make it work.
Ultimately there is, but when someone else finds that tuning answer, then...
Let me touch on that really quick. Just really quick.
Okay.
Almost the worst part about all this, because that laptop that we bought that day lived on Brittany's lap for the past 3 months. Every time we're driving, the laptop is open and I'm data logging and I'm looking and I'm making changes.
Oh, I was looking and I was data logging because you were driving.
I recently ran into another guy with the Prodigy Turbo Kit who's working with a friend who tunes. The really bad part is, after all this tuning and all this detonation and all this that the motor's been hurt, I finally find this guy literally the day that my motor rod knocks. I'm driving right now on his tune, and if you want to know more, you can contact me. Brittany's over it. She won't let me put another stock motor in it and keep running the tune. But literally right now, we are on cruise control at 70 miles an hour with a rod knocked motor on this guy's tune, and it's running better now than
it did before. We're just so dumb. Unfortunately, it's too little too late. But anyways, back to the good, the bad. Then there's the ugly. So the ugly part of this, weirdly enough, it's not the fact that our motor is rod knocked right now. That's not the ugly part. The ugly part
is the grill.
No, the grill. Yeah, removing the grill from the front was crappy.
Part of the overheating is you have to remove the grill because the intercooler blocks too much airflow to the radiator. I removed all 3 grill pieces, and it just looked unfinished. It looked ugly.
It just doesn't look good.
For real though, the ugly is that instead of Prodigy listening to what I was saying, taking the information and taking all the issues and buckling down and going, all right, let's fix this. Let's find, maybe there's something wrong with just Kevin's ECU, or there has to be more than Kevin's because there's a few other people with the same issues. They wanted to pawn it off on bad install, which from 5 different tuners and shops, we went over that's not the case.
Bad fuel.
To bad gas. Now,
that can happen.
You can get bad gas. You are not going to get 100 tanks in a row of bad gas. And the other ugly part is we met other people randomly who had Prodigy kits.
The exact same issues, the same symptoms, the same problems, the detonation, the fuel smell, all of it. The same thing. We've met them, we've talked to them, the hiccups, it exists. This problem exists.
And what were they told?
Bad gas.
The bad gas.
Bad install.
That's the go-to. And it's so frustrating because to me, I had spent 3 months trying to make this work and trying to say, hey, you know what, Prodigy? Here it is. Here's what you missed. Here's whatever. And with their help, if they were by my side and by these other people's side, step by step the whole way and really, 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 really tried, I feel like it could have been worked out by now and we wouldn't be going through this, as well as these other people. So I met this couple, husband and wife, both have JLs, both 3.6s, both Prodigy kits. And I said, hey.
Both blown up now.
I said, hey, I'm having these issues. They're like, yeah, I kind of have those issues too. Hey, do you have this hiccup? Yes, I have that. He didn't know about cars, but I said, you might have detonation also. 91 octane, by the way. They didn't have 93. They were in a state where 91. 3 days later, he messages me, says, Kevin, my engine's rod knocked. I'm sending it off. I'm going to have a V8 put in it because
what else are you going to do?
Yeah, screw this. You were just running Prodigy's tune, and that's what you're going to stick with because that's what's stent, and that way you're covered. I think it was 2-3 weeks after that. Hey, guess what? And he sends me a picture with a cracked upper oil pan because his rod broke and tried busting through the oil pan on his wife's
other Jeep.
That's one guy
with two
vehicles, two turbo kits, both running the Prodigy turbo, both blown motors. So again, if they would have just like taken everything I was saying to heart and really known that I was trying to work with them,
as opposed to like pawning it off on these excuses that obviously were not the issue.
Right.
And the thing is, it could be something that is out of their control.
Maybe.
I mean, there's a possibility.
Maybe, but help
a lot
us
of people.
find that.
I know, but help. So vehicles, as they're manufactured and as you come out with more and more vehicles, sometimes the ECU is different between one vehicle of the exact same model, exact same trim, and the next vehicle.
A February 2018 build could have a different ECU than a June 2018 build. It can happen. There's different parameters that get added. They find different ways. They find better fuel economy, whatever it is. And so,
it's possible that there's some JLs out there that just have like ours, possibly, that could have just something up with their ECU that's just different, because Prodigy claims that they have a lot of vehicles out there running their kit with their tune that are perfectly fine. If that's correct, then there's something going on with these vehicles that are having these issues.
So they claim about 50 turbo kits are on the market. And out of those 50, I know of 6 or 7 with blown motors. Now, 2 of those could have been attributed to one guy added a boost controller, and he thinks he did it the wrong way, and it boosted. He went full boost, and it just blew instantly. So we can negate him. And the other one could have been a wastegate sticking issue because they swapped wastegates. Now, there are more blown motors, but those were all supposedly from the wastegate problem. Of the kits without the wastegate problem, and that's just people I know of, and that's not even putting this out on the net. I have not posted this anywhere. These are people messaging me
because
saying,
they knew that
we had the kit, and they said,
turbo.
"Hey, are you having these issues?" I'm like, "Yes, I am." Well, what did you do? How did you fix it? I was like, "I'm trying."
Haven't.
So there you go. All right, so it could be a computer issue, but instead of Prodigy saying, you know what, maybe there's something wrong with yours and the other half a dozen people, computers, let's try to figure out what the difference is and let's get you guys taken care of.
Instead of that, we got bad install, bad gas, our tune's fine, other Jeeps are running it, no problem.
Again, I'm no stranger to turbos, I'm no stranger to tuning. I have had dozens and dozens and dozens of
Kevin,
vehicles.
for the record, Kevin has owned over 100 he's owned a ton of cars in his life.
A lot of cars. I am. Anyway, so
a lot of them were turboed.
A lot of them are turboed, and I've blown some up, but I've known why I blew them up because I was pushing more boost than I should have because I wanted that extra.
Because Kevin was doing something dumb intentionally.
Yeah. This has been left the way it came, other than trying to mess
figure
with
out the tune.
This would have been blown up. First 2 weeks I owned it if I didn't mess with the tune and I didn't have other tuners from across the country helping me every step of the way. And race gas concentrate. And HPtuners.
And a wide band.
You have to.
I'm gonna GlowShift.
I will talk about that 1,000 times over. Anyway, this couldn't have happened at a better time to blow the engine because
kind of
we're over our East Coast tour and we actually had 6 weeks of kind of downtime where we didn't have anything planned.
To reiterate, fit and finish, quality of the kit from Prodigy Turbo was fantastic.
Excellent.
The tune is not what it needs to be.
Prodigy, if you see this, the kit is fantastic.
You did a great job on it. The tune, though, it's not what it needs to be. Not 100% for 100% of the vehicles.
Not on my vehicle and not on the other half a dozen people that
we know
I've talked to. There's something wrong with the ECU. So, in conclusion, we have...
we have a Prodigy Turbo kit for sale. If anyone's interested, if you know someone who wants more boost or wants more power out of their 3.6, but who knows a tuner who likes a challenge,
or maybe you have the ECU,
or maybe you have the magic, whatever it is. There's a turbo kit for sale. Is the point?
We're going back to either stock or I don't know.
We don't know what we're doing.
Options.
We are heading to LA right now with a rod knocked motor with the intent of solving this concern. Let us know in the comments what you think we should do. Should we go back to just a factory 3.6? Should we go Hemi? Should we go Hellcat? Should we go Elephant? What should we do? Let us know in the comments below.
Oh, wait, we
I'm
can
curious.
do an Elephant? Should we do a Elephant?
That's a lot of money. Let us know what you think.
You know what a Elephant
We
is,
love
right?
you. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Remember, you can find all of your Lite Brite Nation merch at litebritstudios.com and all of your Lite Brite Nation decals at pixeldecals.com. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next time. Or maybe sooner if we end up stranded with a blown motor on the side of the highway on our way to LA.
Which could happen. But I'm leaving a link to Race Gas, GlowShift, and HPtuners because absolutely, even if it's not JL, you can benefit from
all three of those things. We're not getting paid by any of those. They just were the key factors that kept RG going for this long. We love you guys, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
say elephant?
Nah.
Did you say elephant? Elephant?
Look at Jelly right now. She has a perfectly good bed right there that she can sleep in on our drives.
It is 100 degrees outside. It's
I know.
hot.
She's like, Dad, this is way better. For anyone who has ever wondered why Jelly's breath smells so bad, we found the cause.
I'm clean. I just took a shower.
Look at her right now.
She's just licking the water off of my feet
That
from the
is not
shower.
what she's doing. That is
So weird. It's weird.
What's he laughing at, Jelly?